Welcome back to uh CodinGame Winter Bot Programming Snakebite Challenge 2026. It's not even really winter, is it? Should be spring. Um so I haven't really touched this in a while. Didn't really have time. It appears that Silver League is open. We're still in bronze, as I was expecting. This code isn't that strong. We are 133 out of 587. Okay, not bad, but I mean, definitely we can improve this. So, I don't intend to do a long session right now, but there's some things I can definitely improve, which won't take that long. So one thing I want to do is be a bit more clear about what a state means. So right now, a state, as far as my pathfinding is concerned, is just the position of the head. It doesn't encompass any sense of direction, which does actually matter, and it doesn't use any use the rest of the body as part of the state, but it should. If the body has a different configuration, that is a different state. So once we've got that figured out, before implementing gravity, we can do that. That will fix some issues where I'm trying to go back on myself or trying to eat myself, which are both bad, of course. And then we can look into implementing gravity, because gravity is a thing as well. So that gravity controls what your neighbor state is going to be, and that rules out several states that are actually unreachable, which we're treating as reachable right now. So now to get started, the first thing we need to do is from the top, we need to change this. Okay, so that's mostly fine, but we want to change this to a tuple, because a tuple is hashable, and we're going to need to hash state so that we can pair and create tables in the... it's required for pathfinding. We need to be able to hash states so that we can pull up states that we've visited and stuff like that. So that should really be a tuple, and then we need to change a whole bunch of things. Not much. So... okay. Loud. All right. So if we change that to a tuple, that means when we insert the body, we have to here. Body.append, we can't do that. We do body equals that, and then do snake.body equals tuple of body. Let's just convert that to a tuple. Okay, so change it to a tuple. Then we can just test that to make sure that hasn't broken anything. Okay. bad. All right, so then I go get my tea. Okay. All right, so right now we have okay, let's go to the pathfinding. Start and a goal set. So the start okay. I'm just thinking how to get the direction. Okay, so I mean that's okay. Wherever the snake is facing, there's 3 possible neighbors: forwards, left, and right. So backwards is not a thing. So we just work that into the neighbor function, and then we don't need to touch direction again after that. So here, start is actually a tuple of pause, right? That's a body. Goal set is a set of pauses. All right, so might as well just have type ins. All right, so came from, so this all stays the same. While Q, so here, so this is what the body looks like. So we actually want current 0, the head. Break, okay. Right. And now here neighbors, we need to current.get neighbors. Okay, so the one that's Let's rewrite. Well, not rewrite. Well, it shouldn't be a method of pause. Okay, so get neighbors is fine, but we have to filter out the one. Okay, so that is fine. That is not. Okay, move that down because that's something we need to deal with separately. All right, so these two are fine. These two checks. We check that it's not out of bounds. Check that it's not a wall. We want to check that it's not. In fact, the first thing we should do is check that it's not going backwards. So, neighbor pause. Call this neighbor pause. It's not strictly the neighbor. The neighbor is where the snake will end up. Okay. All right, so we want to filter out. I haven't used comments like at all, have I? It's gonna bite me later on. All right, so filter out backwards direction. So if neighbor pause equals, so it's simply going to be the second segment of the snake, right? And your snake can never be smaller than 3 pieces. That's strictly not allowed. So neighbor pause is current 1. Continue. All right. Now we need to work out what the neighbor is. So the neighbor will be basically neighbor equals, it's going to be essentially neighbor pause as a tuple concatenated with current, but discarding the tail piece because the tail moves. Yeah. Is that right? And then neighboring came from, continue. And now this is what our state looks like. So the distance is this. And came from neighbor, current, queued up, and neighbor. All right. So if we break out of this or run out of nodes, we reach here. So we have this check. So if we don't find anything, we go none. Otherwise, temp equals current. While temp is not none, path.append. Okay, so we don't put we want the positions of the heads, so we don't put the temp. We put the position of the head only. I think that's fine. Now, when we call get path, it's gonna have to be using snake dot body. Don't need that. So that gets us the path. Yeah, if D is not known, self W snake path 0. So. Yeah, should try that. Let's see if our. So what happened here? We got 4 points and we probably went back on ourselves or something at some point. I'm gonna see how it changes. Tuple object has no attribute get neighbors. Neighbor pausing current. Yeah, okay, that should be the head. Hello, British Rob TTV. I suck at what? Programming? Python? How's it going with the challenge? Challenge is going okay. I've only put in a few hours, I think. I'm just trying to create pathfinding where I but I can't remember. Are you familiar with this particular game? So basically I'm trying to move these snakes about. Before I was just considering a snake to be just the head, like a vector where the head is. Now I've rewritten it to include the whole body as a state. So if the head was in the same place but the body was aligned differently, those would be different states. So I'm trying to use that in my pathfinding now. Let's see if that improves things. It does improve things on this one particular scenario, but I mean, okay. Let's just try some other seeds. So we're pink this time. And we're just crashing into each other. Oh, that's quite bad. Alright, fine. Well, that's a good start. At least we don't go backwards. Going backwards is like instant death. Okay. Problem is you only get 50 milliseconds per turn, so you need to do the max amount of calculations in the 1 second first turn. Yeah, that's a thing that people often do. I think the Pac-Man tournament that we had a few years back, that was one where I really heavily optimized trying to get as much computation as I could in that first turn. But I don't always. In fact, most times I don't. Usually I just kind of do a few heuristics and I don't try to prune a large tree or anything, but you can get good results from doing that, certainly. Like in this particular case, it's not as much I would like to do on the first turn, because it's quite heavily dependent on where all the snakes are. But in the Pac-Man case, it was a big maze, so in that case, there was a lot more you'd want to do on the first turn, because you'd plan a long route in advance. Top 10 got prizes. I'm going big this time. Oh, really? How are you doing right now? should we try submitting this then? This is better than what I had before. Could even get us to silver, I don't know. Probably not, though. Let's have... It's still a bit, still does some terrible things. No! Okay, well, we haven't accounted for snakes as obstacles. That's certainly a very big thing we need to do. So, like, we should easily have won this one. Because he's just stuck. So, yeah, we need to program in the snakes now. I'm building out a massive pre-calculation framework to use, so not even moving the snakes yet. I've got 700 lines already. Oh, okay. What language is that in? In Go. Oh. I think I've only done Go once, and I programmed the game Go in Go. I think it was for a university assignment. We thought it was funny at the time. It was quite funny. Okay, so... yeah, no one ever streams this anymore. At least at this time, it's probably still sleep. Oh, it's probably morning in the Europe. Okay, next important thing is I need to put snakes into this. Top 10 will have to be C, C++, Go, Rust. Yeah, that's usually the case. Well, sometimes Python does get into the top 10 or even the top spots. It does struggle on those games where computation is really heavy, though. Where as the example I gave, the Pac-Man case, where it was very much a test of calculation strength, and the C++ was a clear winner, along with some other languages. But in some cases, I've seen Python really shine just because people were able to use a lot more heuristic type stuff without needing a lot of computation. I mean, that could be the case for this game. I don't know. I haven't really... have a quick look at the leaderboard. We need the full leaderboard. What we got? C++, Go, C++, Java, Rust, yeah. No, I don't see any Pythons. There's Python at 21. Yeah, there's really not much Python in the top spots. University of Wrocław. I know they really love their competitive coding. I've been there for a conference once. It's a really nice, really lovely town. Wrocław has all those little dwarves. No, is it dwarves or gnomes? Hidden around the entire city. And you can do this like treasure hunt thing where you can try and find them all. And they put them in like places, like one might be like by a pond fishing, and another one might be like in front of a church or something. You can go around and find all the gnomes, gnome hunting. Okay, snakes. Snakes! Badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom. We're not climbing the ranks. Probably it's not actually very good what I've done, or it's just with 66%. Okay, well anyway, we're gonna do the snakes things now. Yeah, what? Are we crashing a lot? It's quite possible. Oh, whoa, what happened here? She has not provided one line in time. Ah, we're crashing. That's probably stuck in the pathfinding loop. Oh, because we've got so many states. I'm probably having my snake go around in circles. Because those are all neighboring states. Ah, and if you crash, it's game over. Okay, that's the problem. We should probably never go even though I said different configurations of the snake are different states, I should probably not revisit a space where the head is, or count those as two different states. Because if you reached a spot with your head, well, actually no, maybe I should, because there's cases where it would matter. Actually no, I don't know. No, I shouldn't. It doesn't matter where your body is. We record it for the sake of... I'll have to think about that. I think what we should do is do depth limited search. So if we, like, wherever the power cells are, if we haven't reached it in like 30 steps or something, then we're never going to reach it clearly. So we should probably just do depth limited. Otherwise it's counting all the possible, like turning the snake around and configuring itself differently and stuff as all different states, and it's just doing that endlessly, searching all across like the map. Yeah, so you need A star. Yeah, I know at some point I should switch to A star. That won't solve this particular problem though, because A star will still search endlessly, even if there's no more power cells on the board, or if they're unreachable, then it will still use all that time. So we need to just cut off at a certain point, like a hard depth threshold. But A star will definitely help. So what would be a reasonable threshold? I think like I don't know, just like take the width and the height, add them together and double it? That might still be too high. Let's just try that. Double it to account for a bit of weaving around obstacles, but... Depth limit equals width plus height. Let's say times 2. Just an arbitrary choice. Seed equals... Alright, I'll try this. Depth limit is that. Alright, so... It's a nice small one. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so, let's say if we're at the limit, if this current is at the limit, continue. We don't go any further. Right, just that one change. I want to go back to the previous seed though, because that was the one that was crashing on. Because we need to fix that. Oh, we still exceeded the limit. I think this limit is still too high. Depth limit might not even be the right approach here. Okay. Let's just see what the problem is then. Is the tree too big? I think it probably is still too big. Print? No, don't print. Log. 2,000. Thing is, when we implement gravity, this is going to cut down the tree a lot because there's far fewer reachable spots once we put gravity in. But we still don't want this to be in this to be able to time out. So I'm trying to think if I should really be storing the states this way. All right, let's work out what depth limit is reasonable before we What is width plus height in this example? 20, okay. So I tried width plus height, and even that was too much. Even though there might be a path that long. Yeah. If we can't fix this with just setting a limit, then I suppose A star and with a timeout would actually be the better way then. I have to have a think about this. Well, Hang on, are we also... No, it's not Dijkstra, so this is correctly written. Dijkstra. I think switching to A-star is probably the way forward then. I mean, there's a pretty clear Hamming, the whatever it's called, Hamming metric? No, the Manhattan metric is probably a very strong heuristic here. Because it's not that obstacle-y. And then we can have just implement a timeout instead of a depth limit. Okay, so but for now, let's just fix it so we actually have something to submit. So what's reasonable, like 30 or something? Let's just try and get it to actually work so that we have something on the board that's not crashing. Still too much? Depth limit isn't solving the problem though, because it's not the limit is not necessarily the issue, it's the size of the queue. Yeah. You can set a low limit but still have so many possibilities. Yeah, no, this is bad. Depth limit is the wrong approach here. It's queue size limit is the problem. Okay, if we get more than 2,000 break, just say that. Wait, what happens? If not... Why did my code change? Oh, I can't figure out what just happened. I clicked something while it was reloading and then it messed something up. Cannot access local value current. Oh my god, I've written this wrong. What was I trying to do there? Oh, it should be greater or equal to 2,000. That just immediately broke out. Okay, not bad. Yeah, as expected. All right, just submit that. All right, we'll go for A-star. So hopefully this should do better. Yeah, okay. Okay, do I want to implement the snakes first or the A-star? I'm going to implement the snakes first, because that's probably actually a much quicker boost to our score. So, and it's really simple. We just basically record where all the snakes are. So, but should we count snakes if they're far away? Or just ones that are immediately close by? Let's start by just counting the ones, only counting the snakes that are immediately close by. So at distance 1. Or even 2. Because the ones that are far away, they may not still be there when we get there. So we'll say, so to do this, we're gonna need... Oh yeah, we also don't want to eat ourselves. So let's cut out those configurations. So... So when we see a neighbor, let's just change this to don't eat self. If neighbor pause in current we actually can move into our tail spot because the tail will disappear. We shift along, so that's allowed. So it's as long as it's not from the second segment to the second last segment. Well, that stops us eating ourselves. That's an improvement, I suppose. Can we push a bit higher? Like, no, we don't need to do that. We'll just try. I just want to see how high we can go. Alright, we'll stick with 2000. Okay, so when we compute the... When we're doing the when we're calling the pathfinding, we should supply a list of obstacles that we want to avoid. So before we do anything more, let's say snake set equals right, it's no, wait, how do you do this again? Oh, it's gonna be like reduce. I don't even remember how to use reduce. Not reduce. Yeah, reduce. Tools. I mean, it's a good tool to use. I just often avoid it. Because reduce function. So function is going to be operator dot. Okay, can you just give me a quick example? Google Python reduce set union. Just show me an example that does that. Oh, it's better to do this. Set dot union. Yeah, but okay, fine. Yeah, this works. It's gonna be set of snake dot body for snake in snakes plus. Wait, we've got a list of all snakes, don't we? No. Yeah, but is it up to date? It should be. Snakes dot values, right? That should be. Keep forgetting where I am. Here. Snakes dot values. So we've got the starting set, we've got the goal set, and then we want obstacles equals snake set. And then when we're pathfinding, we want to just say if avoid obstacles at distance 1. So if dist current is 0, if neighbor pause in obstacles, continue. So we shouldn't take one step onto a snake, but we can just, from a distance, we can assume that snake won't be there. That's not problematic, but we'll just avoid stepping onto a snake immediately. So we can come close, but not any further. Unhashable type set. What? Why are you trying to hash into things? Snake.body is a tuple of pause. Set snake.body should cast to a set, right? Yeah. So that is a set. We've basically taken a generator of sets and take the union of them, right? Is that not right? Vegetable type set. Apparently we can't. Okay, we'll try with chain dot from iterable then, I suppose. Oh, look at that big boy. Okay, so this one fell off the map. Wonderful. Well, when we implement gravity, that will be fixed, hopefully. Oh, look at this. Look at this snake doing his thing. Okay, on the right here. Oh, clever. He's not accounting for gravity though, he just got lucky. And he doesn't go into the snake, he goes up and kills that snake. Fuck, well, whatever. Oh. Yeah, we need to have a bit of a hive mind going on here. This snake needs to know where this snake is going. So... Oh, I can fix that right now. We can just add that to snake set. So when we decide where a snake is going, d path equals get path. Path. We then... We don't need that. Snake set dot add path 0. That means future snakes. Now the order we pick the snakes is arbitrary. But if we've chosen a okay, we have to do path. Alright, so let's see what happens now. No attribute add. Oh, it doesn't return a set? What does it return? You have to cast it to a set. Fine, whatever, just... There must be a cleaner way of doing what I'm trying to do here. I just want to take a bunch of sets and make a new set. I guess that's... for loop is a way of doing that. Oh my god, he's off the map. So what happens right here is... He goes up and then he goes... Big boy goes left. Ah, and little boy moves to the side to give him room. Oh, it's so cute. Look at them. They're avoiding each other. They're getting along. They're so smart, except for that one on the left who falls off the edge of the world. Okay. That's pretty good. Should just submit that. Let's have a look at some of these failures. So I've got this. No, we crashed. Are we still timing out? Well, that's no good. Oh. What? Two, none, none. So we do actually get something. Not provided one line in time. All right, so one of these. Heart. Okay, Snakebot 3, Snakebot 2. Okay, so 2 can't decide where to go. That doesn't make sense, because he could go there, couldn't he? No, no, no. Okay, we do have targets. Alright, so you move there. Now you don't know what to do. 2 doesn't know what to do. 3 wants to go for one of these. Okay, fine. Oh, you know what? I think the problem is we're too high up and we're just treating that as an invalid state. I think it doesn't matter how high you go. That's not dangerous. Thing is, why is that a problem though? Okay, so 2 doesn't know what to do, so it just carries on going up. That's fine, I guess. Three is trying to go over there. And the next step... 2 doesn't know what to do. 3 is the one that times out. Interesting. Maybe this timer is just too high, because I'm not... Both snakes are doing it, that's the problem. So it should be much smaller, like, I don't know, like if there's up to a bunch of snakes, then there should be like, I don't know, 500 or something. It's if it was like 4 snakes. Oh my god, our rank is not good. Yeah, we're crashing again. We're gonna have to switch to A-star. This is just spreading out too much. Alright, with that threshold, submit that. We just need to catch all the games where we're losing because of errors, because that's a bad thing to lose on. Alright, what's happening here? Keep running into walls. So we're losing to someone who's doing nothing because we're just running into walls. Fine. Oh, it's a tiebreaker situation. Interesting. That's not... Okay, that's not too big a deal then. I'm more concerned with major... Oh, look how big this one is. So we're pink. Oh, we were doing so well, and then we just... don't know what to do, so we run into the wall. So basically we need a backup pathfinding. If we can't find a path to any power cells, then we should be doing a safe, like, rerouting so that we don't run into walls. That's fine. That's not too big a deal, but we do need to fix that at some point. What's going on here? Well, yeah, these are quite big maps, so yeah. And we were doing good, and then what happened? Look at that giant snake! Oh man, when we don't know what to do, we just end up just running into a wall. So basically we need a, I'm gonna make a note here, because that's probably something for another session. What we should do is try to get our snake into... like just a non-trapped state. So a non-trapped state means there is some way, there is some infinite cycle you can find. As long as you can do that, then you're not trapped because you can just remain safely in the infinite cycle. Let's make a to-do here. So basically, when here, we need an else here. Else, we need to have the snake do something. I can't remember how to do comments. It's this. Okay. Get the snake to go somewhere safely, because if we're not trying to go for power cell, then we should be trying to just get somewhere arbitrarily. That'll basically be pathfinding again, but it's just like look 4 spaces ahead and try and aim for that spot, basically, or I don't know. We're rank 1? I mean, the most important thing was not erroring. So we might promote in the next few minutes. The most important thing was just doing something. That's enough to get you wins. As long as you're not timing out and also not crashing into your own snakes. That was a big deal. Yeah, it looks like we might promote soon. Like, how do we fare against the boss? Who is the boss? Yeah, see, that's kind of bad, but we still win. But it's a very dumb thing, so there's still something we need to fix. And I have an idea of how to do that, but it'll take a while. We have to write a new pathfinding method, and it's not going to be very computationally expensive. Basically, it's just look for a path of length n, where n is something like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or something. And as long as it's a path where you can follow and you don't crash, then... If we promote right now, though, that's probably a good place to leave the stream, because the very next thing I want to do is fix this to-do. So it'll be interesting to see what our rank is in silver. Okay, it looks like we're pretty stably at first position. Good stuff. League opening on the 16th. I usually manage to get to gold and no further. Gold is a realistic target. Legend is like, you really, really got to put the time in for Legend. I don't generally have the willpower to actually go for Legend anymore. I used to. In the early days when I was a young lad studying computer science. Not doing anything now, just waiting. And it looks pretty stable though. So how are my buddies doing in the leaderboard? Let's check. Yeah, I'm not sharing that on Twitter. What? Yeah. People are doing good. I don't see any sign of coup. Guess he's not participating. Hello, Tequila Shooter. Nice, we're gonna see new rules. Oh, of course, there's new rules. I'm used to, like, the usual format they did was the rules only changed in the Wood Leagues and then everything stayed the same from Bronze onwards. So do they actually have new rules? No. No, there's no new rules for Silver. So I think it's the same as it usually is. The rules don't change from Bronze onwards. And this time they've done away with the Wood Leagues. Yeah, if it hasn't changed for Silver, it's probably not going to change for Gold onwards. That's usually the way it's done because they don't... It's like Bronze is usually where the real competition starts, and they don't want to worry people with things like massively changing in later leagues, because Bronze is where people are putting all their effort into designing strong algorithms and stuff. It's usually just done for the Wood Leagues to kind of ease you into the rule set by introducing, like, drip feeding them in. But yeah, Bronze onwards, I don't think they ever change. And this time they didn't do any Wood Leagues. I'm guessing because it's quite expensive to run the Wood Leagues when they got thousands of people all doing it. Although last time they had a pretty good system. It was just a tutorial system. So you just had to beat a specific boss. And there was no leaderboard for the Wood Leagues. You just had to beat a boss. So that way they didn't have to run the servers for a leaderboard for the Wood Leagues. So that saved them computation time. But you also had to just beat a specific pre-coded boss to get past those, which was, I thought, a good system to use. It's like the qualifier, and then if you manage to get past that, then you win Bronze. Alright, well, we're in Silver. I guess that is where I want to leave the stream for now. That was a nice improvement. Oh, it's recomputing for Silver. I suppose we can just wait a couple of minutes and see where I end up. I don't expect to be very high in Silver though, because it's like... Oh, we'll see. So you're stuck in Bronze, Tequila Shooter. Are you doing any pathfinding? I still need to change my breadth first search algorithm, switch it for A*. Like, A* is clearly going to be an improvement, especially in computation time. Like, this map is something that's quite A* friendly. Like, there's not a huge amount of obstacles, so the heuristic will help a lot. That's the deal, BFS. What, you mean you've got BFS right now? I mean, BFS is still pretty strong, and it should... I mean, I've got BFS, so clearly it can get you past bronze. I guess the main thing which got me ranked was making sure I wasn't timing out, because I found a few places where I was timing out. So just put like some limits. Like I think for my breadth first search, I put 500 limit on my queue size. If the queue size grew more than 500, then I immediately stopped. But once I change it to A*, I can probably... that'll probably be less of an issue, because it should try to beeline for the goals. And of course the other biggest thing was just not crashing into snakes. So I had to account for my own body, where it is, where my own... It's pretty important that if you've got one snake and you've got another snake and they're both going for the same spot, you filter out that case. So when a snake has a target destination, you should then make sure any future snakes don't go to that spot. You should just... that's like a reserved spot. You should just not put that into a list of obstacles so that your future snakes don't go for that spot. So it's like a dynamic obstacles list. Because that situation did actually come up quite often. Still I'm the only one. Let's take a quick look at Twitch. Let's see if anyone else is doing any coding game. Not necessarily the bot challenge, but I don't think they are. Coding game. Not just me. Alright. I don't know, I don't think I want to raid any of these people. I usually just want to raid someone if they're doing the same thing that I was doing. Alright, I think we'll just stop there then. It looks like it's mostly stable. 51% good enough. Alright, so it looks like we're kind of at the low end of this, which is exactly where I would expect to be. So the people at the bottom usually have broken algorithms, like they might have changed something and it's broken, so... we don't have a boss, do we? No, because, well, default is just something that's pre-written. I suppose we can run it against the default. It is a very simple rule set. Like, this is compared to past competitions, this is actually quite one of the simplest rule sets I've seen. Which is cool. I generally like simple rule sets. I don't mind complex ones if they kind of, I don't know, if they click for me. There were some complex rule sets I didn't like in the past, like the like the Dota type game where you had like different Marvel heroes and you had different stats for each of them, so you could choose whether to generate an Iron Man or Incredible Hulk or X-Men or something, and then they each had their own stats tables, and oh, it was just confusing. And you could use their superpowers, and there's just so much to keep track of, even for the Wood Leagues, that I just got bored of it. I mean, I'm sure it was a good game if you really get into it, but I like to be able to actually just get something up and running pretty quickly. Alright. Guess I'll stop there. Better than the boss. What is this? Neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays me from kicking butt. Just reached Silver League. Yeah, I'm not sharing that on social media. Yep, okay. Thank you for watching, everyone, and see you next time.